First, we will look at the dashboard for the breach catalog. Each dashboard includes multiple ways to filter, including adjusting the time range, using pre-configured drop-down filters, and the standard full-text query bar. The breach catalog dashboard shows a high-level overview of the breach sources that SpyCloud has acquired over time and allows you to view the sources based on different criteria. Let's change the time period to include all breaches for the last 10 years. The filters at the top allow you to search for specific breaches. Under Title, let's search for LinkedIn. For LinkedIn, we see a single source acquisition from quite a while ago, as this was a singular source and was acquired quite a long time ago. Next, let's search for a different source, Luma C2 Stealer. Luma C2 Stealer is the name of a malware family, so we can see many acquisitions for this source over time as we continuously get data associated with certain malware families. Additionally, notice the time period where the stealer rose to significance by looking at the graph. Now let's take a look at the breach record dashboard by selecting SpyCloud Breach Record. Under the breach record dashboard, we can view and interact with those records associated with our enterprise watch list. Let's set the time range for this to last 30 days. Let's see how we can use breach record data to find information about a specific host. Under the hostname filter, we will start typing the name of a known host in our organization. And we will select it. This will filter the entire dashboard by that singular host. Note that there are other predefined filters such as email, username, and severity that we can also search by, or we can use the query bar at the top. Let's look at the data associated with the filtered host. For this specific infection, we can see 2 emails involved, a single password, a single IP, single domain, and 3 total records, each with the target URL associated with the individual breach record. Now, before we look at the next dashboard, I'm going to copy the SpyCloud log ID for one of these records. This log ID uniquely identifies the given infection. We will use this when we look at the Compass data. Now, if your organization has access to Compass data, you will have data populated in a third dashboard called SpyCloud Compass. Let's take a look at what additional information we can find using this dashboard. On the Compass dashboard, we have similar data to what we see on the breach record dashboard, but the data here will include all records for a given infection, including those that are not associated with your enterprise watch list. This will give you the full remediation view of your infected users. Let's take the log ID we copied from earlier and use it to filter the view on the Compass dashboard. Note that we can now see all the infection details for the infected host, not just the ones associated with the enterprise watch list. You'll see the number of emails has grown from 2 to 10. And if we scroll down, we can see all the details for those emails. You'll also notice that the emails that are not associated with your watch list are obfuscated. We can still see the original 2. And then down here, we'll see actually all of the information associated with this infection, including all the different sites that were visited, over 37 of them. This gives us a much deeper view of the infection and can even allow us to download the records associated with that infection. Even though the dashboards provide an easy way to view and peruse the data, the SpyCloud data is also available for any standard querying as well using the analytics functionality built into Elastic. Let's go to the Discover page and show how this can be done. We're going to start by filtering for SpyCloud breach records over the last 7 days. Let's go ahead and change that time period to the last 30 days. At this point, we are now seeing a time-based view and a record view of those records for the previous 30 days. You could also break down by certain fields as well. Let's say we wanted to do a breakdown based on the actual event severities. When we do that, we'll actually see this graph now reflect color-coded severity breakdowns and a legend here to indicate those. Now let's go ahead and remove that. Now let's go ahead and do a targeted query. In this query, we're going to look for records that are breach records that have an event severity of 25 and that also have a host name associated with it. And the way we do that in Elastic is by doing an asterisk. So now we're saying all SpyCloud breach records, event severity 25, so malware with a host name. And each of these records would satisfy that criteria. If this was a query you wanted to save, you can do so easily by saving the query. You can even include the time filter associated with that. Let's call this last 30 days breach records with hostname and save the query. Anytime we want to, then we could easily come back and run that query. Using queries such as these, you could create alerts in Elastic, and these alerts could raise awareness or could be tied to triggers that run automations in other tools.